Hey everybody, this is the intro, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over something called switch branches. So what they are is it's something that sort of lets you not have to create so many if and else statements. So if you remember if and else statements, they can get sort of redundant. You know, if this value is true, run this. If this value is true, run this. Instead of doing that, we can just create something called the switch. So before we do that, I'm just going to start new voided function, and I'm just going to call it function 1 and no parameters, and we're going to create some output for the user. So what we're going to do is have the user enter some type of number, and save their number. And what we're going to do is actually, okay, so once we have their number saved, we have, like I said, in the if statement, we had if statement, and then we could have a test and a body. This is in switch branching. We use something called a switch. So what a switch does is we declare a switch, and we use a set of parameters. Now the parameter is the variable that you want to test. So we're going to be testing this variable for a value, for any type of value, and as you'll see, you can see what will happen when we test these different values. So once we declare this, the switch, we put a body, and in the body we put case statements. So what a case statement is it basically says, in case of this test, or in case of this value being inputted, or in case of something this happens, then this program or this set of rules will run. And to do this, we put case, and then we put in case of what. So in case of a string, we put something inside our brackets right here, but we're using a number, so we're going to say in case of 1, and then we use a colon to separate our code, and then we just say what happens in case of 1. So in case of 1, we're just going to say cout, you lose. So if the user enters 1, it'll say you lose. And we can say in case of 2, and on and on and on. So you just say in case of 2 what will happen, and of course we can do many things with this. So I just don't want to explain the basic concept of it. Actually, what we're going to do is create a little program using the switch branching. So we have these two, and we're testing the variable for number. So when the user inputs a number, we have this switch statement that's going to pop up, and it's not going to pop up to the user, but the program is going to say, okay, if the user enters 1, then this, and if the user enters 2, then this. And of course I could have used any other numbers and kept going with our case statements, but we're not going to do that right now. What I'm just going to do is just go ahead and prototype our function, and we're going to run it. So enter a number, and I'll put 1, and there you go. So in case of this, actually, okay, so we get both of these statements, and the reason that this happens is because when we got the when we end these functions right here, we have to have the break. So what a break means is that when these statements are done, these case statements have to be separated by something that tells the compiler, okay, I'm done with this case. And I'm sorry for not mentioning that earlier. I sort of forgot, it slipped my mind. So we have to separate these with breaks. So if I was going to carry a case 3 and cout whatever, we just have to separate each one with brace or a break sign. So we'll go ahead and run this again, and where it says enter a number, we're just going to enter 2, and there we go, you win. And that way we don't get all the values at once. The compiler knows that this is one case statement and it's separate from this case statement and it's separate from this case statement. So that's basically all I wanted to show you guys. There are a few other things that we could go over within this, but I'll leave that for later on because you have to use a few functions that haven't been introduced yet. So we'll wait for that, and just please subscribe to the channel and like and share the video and give me a thumbs up. So thank you guys for watching and have a good day.